this is a significant discussion happening that affects a significant portion of this state. And as someone who grew up in a very rural, mountainous part of this country, while I didn't grow up in eastern Kentucky, I have a real heart for the struggles that people go through. And as has been noted, the difficulty in finding opportunities for young people, because young people do go away. I'm a living example of that, if you want a job, you want to find opportunity. Too often, sadly, it has meant you go away from the place that you grew up. And so this means a lot to me personally, but I came here to learn. I came here to listen and to better understand what it is that people are talking about as it relates specifically to this opportunity.
You're a free market guy. Do you think that the market's already spoken now on coal and we need to start looking beyond coal?
I don't. I am a free market guy, but the problem I have is that the government is picking winners and losers. No question changes are happening with it as it relates to energy policy, as it relates to not only the cost of production for various forms of energy, but the actual consumption of that energy as well. These changes will absolutely have an effect on the future of this country, and of this country's economy. But for the government to arbitrarily come in and pick winners and losers through regulation, that's where I have a problem. I don't think it's the role of government to come in and mess with the free markets and free market economy.
So what is the step then? Obviously there needs to be probably some protection environmentally, but where's that limit at, do you think?
Again, there's no magic answer to that. There really isn't. There is no perfect, if it was as easy as dialing it in, everybody would know this is it, and now we've accomplished what it is we're looking for. But when it's great to scrub, the air to remove 2 more microns per billion parts of something that may or may not really have any measurable effect on people. But when those 2 extra microns come at the expense of 202,000 and 20,000 lives, then that's, I think, a step too far. And I think there does need to be a trade-off. Nobody wants, pollution in the air or in the water, but people need jobs, people need hope, people need opportunity. And I think it is important to allow the markets to take more effect and have the government stepping in.
Well, as you travel the state, what are you hearing from people? What are you hearing that they want to do to diversify the economy, not only in eastern Kentucky, but across the state?
It was interesting. I was in McCreary County, a bit south and west of here, maybe a month ago. And what's interesting to me is there's a county, 23rd poorest county in the United States, actually, certainly one of the poorest here in Kentucky. And they have tremendous amount of people who are on, government benefits because of necessity in some respects. But you have 70% of the land in that county is owned by the federal government. 70% of the ability for people to make their own livelihood using the resources right in their backyard have been robbed from them in some measure in terms of they've been having this boxed out. No hunting lodges, no timber, no logging. These are things that were once proud parts of that tradition in that part of the country. Why don't we return to that? I think even here, it's great to have ideas about what the government can do for us. If there's anything I would challenge folks here to think about, it's what can the government stop doing? Really and truly, what can the government stop doing at both the local, in the county, and the state level to get out of the way, to uninhibit those who have ideas and who are entrepreneurial and who want to put roots down and make things grow. Because frankly, we don't have the money, and everyone knows this, for the government to come in with this program and that program and build this and build that. The money literally isn't there. We have tens of billions of dollars of unfunded liability in this state. Where is this money going to come from, except for yet another mortgage, yet another lien on the futures of future generations? We just can't keep saddling future generations with debt after debt after debt that we're unable to make the hard decisions on, and so we're going to force them to pay. And so I think it's as much as anything, what can the government stop doing? What can the government get their hands out of and their fingers off of to free people to have the opportunity before them?
I think in Kentucky there's 1 in 5 Kentuckians that are receiving food stamps. What do you think the federal government needs to do there, or what Kentuckians need to do to get off of those programs?
It's interesting. It's on its way to 1 in 4. We're in the process of signing up another 300,000+, for Medicaid and for SNAP benefits. So that'll make over 1.1 million people likely within the months and year or so ahead that'll be receiving SNAP benefits. You've got to start to wean people off. That's a hard fact, but everybody knows it to be true. There is no endless supply of money. There is a bottom to the bucket, and we're essentially there in some respects. We cannot borrow our way out of this. We cannot continue to print money to get our way out of this. I think that these programs exist for a reason. There are people who genuinely need these assistance programs and should receive those benefits. No question about it. I know some of these people personally, and there is an absolute need. But there are any number of people who don't need these benefits. And as you know, every state makes its own rules. Every state comes up with its own methodology for what the eligibility level is. It's all paid for out of the federal budget. But states decide. In the state of Washington, their threshold is higher even than ours. I'm married, I have 9 children, so I'm a big family. But I could make $103,000 a year and still be eligible for food stamps. There's something wrong with a system that is that open-ended, because it robs from those who actually need the benefits, because it's giving benefits to people who don't need it. And when you rob people of their incentive, you rob them of hope. And when you rob people of hope, you rob them of dignity, and it becomes a downward spiral. It really does. It becomes a problem that frankly increases as a result of people abdicating responsibility for doing for themselves. And it isn't the job or role of government to make it easier for people to abdicate self-responsibility. It just isn't.